All right, everybody, welcome to a special edition live here, downtown Birmingham, Woodward Sports Network. Myself and Jeff Iafrate. Good morning.
Good morning,
Jeff.
It's a good day. I know you did this for the Lions, and now we're doing it for the Pistons, and people seem to love it for the Lions, so I'm excited to answer some questions.
Absolutely. Today is about everybody at home, by the way, just an FYI. Get all of your questions, and we will definitely do our best to answer them all day.
Yeah.
And regarding the Detroit Pistons, Jeff, let's just get into it. Pistons draft, Jaden Ivey at 5, Jalen Duren at 13. We'll start with Jaden. What he means to the city. I think D. Wade's a good comp, especially one given that he's selected at number 5 as well. You look at his hyper athleticism.
Yep.
It's quite amazing. But, Jeff, you've been Jaden Ivey, I want to say, since January.
Yeah.
Maybe early February. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while. You, even Anthony Colombo from Pistons Talk, have been on the Jaden Ivey train for the longest time. Jeff, if the Pistons don't select Ivey, are we this excited this morning?
No.
Was there not a better fit than Jaden Ivey?
No, he was the best fit because he's the best combination of upside and fit, in my opinion. I mean, you could have went Keegan Murray, but we probably wouldn't be as excited because, again, this draft, what did we talk about for weeks leading up to this draft? It's upside, and Jaden has that upside, and just to kind of recap taking him at 5, it's value. Like that, he was a consensus for going forward to the Sacramento Kings. They chose Keegan Murray, which I expected them to do just that because I didn't think they would trade out of the pick, and they didn't want to lose Keegan Murray, so they take him, and Jaden falls right into our lap. And I think the biggest part about it is in back-to-back drafts, the Pistons select 2 guys that want to be in Detroit. That's what I took from it, and that just motivates him even more. And Troy Weaver challenged him to be a great defender, and he took it. So they got the best player, man. Really.
It's super early. None of them have been on the court yet, but I'm just going to say it now. You mentioned to me earlier that Chet Holmgren, who's the best player to come out of this draft, or who's going to be the best player out of this draft? Me in 2 months. Benedict Mathurin saying the king needs to play me. The king isn't even the king, and if he was the king, hell, even now he could bust your ass. Benedict Mathurin, number 1. And then, of course, we have our good friends in the Portland Trail Blazers who drafted Shaedon Sharpe, who came out and said he's the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. You want to talk about being very happy post-draft? Not only did you get the player you wanted, Detroit, you got one of the most humble individuals that I believe will be the most successful player to come out of this draft. Let's get some questions in. Jeff, we'll start with Doug Fungus. How far do you all think we are away from contending once this team gets a few years under its belt in terms of adding and dropping players? Who would you give bus tickets to on the current roster?
If I had to say how many years away from contending, it really depends on how these players develop. If Jaden Ivey is way better than we think, I think that speeds up the process. But I think it's still a couple years away. You have to see what they do in free agency. And again, you know, if you're talking about contending, I mean, Dwayne Casey's the head coach right now, but there's so much things that you have to see kind of play out. I would still stick with you made a good point in the morning show talking about 3 to 5. I think that's still a fair amount of time for this team.
3 is if they mold into superstars immediately in 2-3 years. I think Cade can do it. Jaden Ivey, I think by year 4 should be a star in this league, not a superstar, but a star. So yeah, I think 4 years away. 4 years before you get out of the first round like you should. You're a pain in the ass to play against in the second round, and then the Eastern Conference Final. I mean, that's where you want to get to. I think that's still 4 or 5 years away. But, Jeff, I got to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
You name me a better young, up-and-coming backcourt. And, yes, I'm going to consider Saddiq Bey. I'm just going to put him there because he'll rotate in and out as a 2-guard anyways. But the point is, Saddiq Bey, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. You find me a better young core 3 around all of basketball. It can go toe-to-toe with Boston. You take Boston from the picture, I think it's clearly the Pistons.
Yeah, the only thing those guys have is just maturity. Like, they've been in the league way longer. And I think
they have the 4 or 5 year timeline that we discussed.
Exactly. And I think with Saddiq Bey, he doesn't get talked about enough. He had a 50 ball this year. So that's going to be a guy that's going to fly under the radar. But I would agree. I mean, Sean made this point as well. Name a better young core than the Pistons have right now with all the available cap space. It's unfinished. I mean, you can go out and sign, Miles Bridges, DeAndre, and whoever, and just build on this young core because they're all on rookie contracts. And I know in football we love rookie contracts. Well, you could have 3 of your main core players getting paid what, like under $10 million? It's crazy.
Forget that for even a second. When you pay them, you're paying them the max that you can afford. And I think if they're all stars like you expect them to be, I don't believe Gords has any issue paying some luxury tax to put together a contender.
Yeah.
I don't see that to be an issue.
And did you see the report too? Tom Gores, he contacted Troy Weaver the night of draft and just said, be aggressive. Like, he gave him that +1. And that means a lot, man. When an owner gives you his +1, like, hey, Troy Weaver, go get it. And I think he trusts and he realizes Troy Weaver, he's a hell of a GM. So that's important with Tom
Troy
Gores.
Weaver is a hell of a GM. I think what he did, back-to-back drafts, this is the third consecutive draft, I should say.
You could argue he won.
I mean,
it's tough.
It's tough to do that. And you know what? I'm sure a lot of you guys at home play 2K. What Troy Weaver has done since he got to Detroit is what you do in 2K. You blow up the whole team. You draft all the #1 overall picks, basically, all the best players from each draft class, and then you start winning right away.
Yeah.
Now, in 2K, it's easier to win, obviously, than in real-life basketball. But the point is, you don't flip a roster. I kind of mentioned to you when we were grabbing a coffee. You went from, what is his name? Sky Mook.
Svi.
Whatever Svi's name. You had that. You had Sekou Demboya, Andre Drummond 2-3 years ago, to what you have now. Sadiq Bey, Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey.
It's crazy.
Killian Hayes. Isaiah Livers.
Polar opposite.
Like, come on. No, this is a fantastic turnaround. There's a good question in the chat I think we should answer. This comes from Ravers Kicks. Jeff and Adam, should we switch focus from DeAndre Ayton to Miles Bridges? For fit, ? Is there another high-level vet we should pursue like Bobby Portis or someone else? Jeff, what do you think?
I know James Edwards wrote about this as well. Like, I believe when they selected Jalen Duren, it went from DeAndre Ayton as plan A to now he's plan B. Maybe Miles Bridges is the first one they pursue because I know a lot of people have been questioning the DeAndre Ayton signing now that we have Jalen Duren. But just to kind of put some, eat a piece of humble pie, I don't think Jalen Duren is he's 18 years old. I think there's going to be a little bit of time. If you still sign DeAndre Ayton, I don't think it means anything for Jalen Duren. But, again, if you sign DeAndre Ayton, you have him on a 4-year deal. And can you have Jalen Duren sit behind DeAndre Ayton for 4 years? That's a tough question.
I don't think you need him to. The way you can stretch the floor with the pieces you have. I'm out of the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes.
And
I'm
that's
done.
fair. Yeah.
The fact that they got Duren told me everything. They were prepared to go after DeAndre Ayton. That was real.
Mm-hmm.
If they were not able to get their hands on Duren. They did. It's done. Miles Bridges, interesting player. What's his ceiling past 27-4 a game? I think that's about it. I don't think he's anything more than that. I don't think you want the usage rate he had in Charlotte here, but that's what Cade and Jaden Ivey are for. I like Bobby Portis. I liked Kyle Anderson before the draft. Bobby Portis is an okay option, but you're going to have to get a little bit older to save the season from being a 20-25 win season. They are young. They will struggle. They will lose a lot of games if it stays this way. July 1st, the free agency period opens up. We'll see a lot of moves hopefully happen then. But what I would say is go get a veteran 4.
Mm-hmm.
Go get a veteran 5. Go get a veteran 3. To be honest with you, and I'm okay with the young guards.
Yeah.
But I like Kyle Anderson still because Kyle Anderson can still act as a point guard up and down the court. No, he's not going to be the greatest facilitator, but he can handle the ball.
Play the 3 or the 4.
He gives you great defense.
Yeah.
I think a Kyle Anderson. I'd entertain Bobby Portis. I think Miles Bridges. I don't think Troy Weaver's about throwing out that kind of money for a Miles Bridges. If he did, I wouldn't hate it. Jeff, I think there's no risk involved either because by the time his contract ends, he'll be gone.
Yeah.
We're not re-signing him. And then Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, they'll all be entering the final years of their contracts, so you have to re-up them, and give them the max if they're the star players that we believe they are. So whatever happens today, I think it's going to be fantastic for this team moving forward.
And R. Stone just asked, could Cade and Jaden be C.J. McCollum and Dame Lillard in about 3 years? Yeah, I was going to say better. Higher ceiling than those guys, for sure.
Just better. I love Dame. Big shot Dame. I mean, you want to talk about clutch shots in the playoffs? Amazing. Yeah. C.J. McCollum, a very good number 2.
But that team had a ceiling.
They had a ceiling because their stars were just stars. Dame's not a superstar. I'm sorry. He's not. He's fantastic. Yeah. He's a star player. He's a Hall of Fame type player.
But he can't single-handedly lead you to a championship. Is that what you qualify as a superstar? To put some context on it? Like a Giannis,
my definition is an individual that can lead their team to
and that's
a championship run.
That's fair.
Maybe that's maybe my expectations and my grading is higher than most, but Steph Curry's unselfishness is why they win a championship. Tim Duncan's unselfishness is why they win a championships. Championships.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have that in Cade Cunningham. I think Cade Cunningham will be one of the most selfless superstars for this upcoming generation. And I'm sorry, you just drafted another humble individual. This is going to be one of the most humble, up-and-coming young teams. And I believe between Ivey and Cade, I think Ivey has that killer in him. But let's not sleep on Cade either. Led the NBA in fourth quarter scoring down the stretch, clutch buckets.
2 killers.
I mean, again, I think they're going to be better than C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. I think they'll be more accomplished. And I think
they'll be better defensively, that's for sure.
6 years from now, it wouldn't surprise me if you have 2 top 10 players in the NBA. And Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham.
And then I got another question. What do you guys think about Jalen Duren roster rotation next season? G League, coming off the bench. He's not going to be in the G League. I'll get that
I don't
straight.
think G League, no.
But coming off the bench, that seems
100%.
more likely.
I think 20 minutes a night would be nice.
Yeah.
20, 22 minutes. Isaiah Stewart's going to give you good minutes. If you go out and get another center, you're going to be able to split up all the minutes. You're going to have a lot. Rotations is the key this year, right? I hated what Dwayne Casey started the season with.
Yeah.
Up until about December, January, I was ready to strangle him. So I hope it's not the case again this year. But you have a lot of flexibility with rotations. And, again, let's see what happens in free agency. Cade has it, but he picks his moments. I think Ivey is non-stop killer. Excuse me. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Again, if we're going to do player comps, I would give Cade Cunningham, I would put him in the Tim Duncan, Steph Curry category in terms of his character. His ability, you could compare it to a lesser version of LeBron because he's so
unselfish.
versed. He's all around.
Wants to make the right play.
Good passer, absolutely. Always wants to make the right play.
Yep.
And I think with Jaden Ivey, I think I see a humble young D Wade.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that is.
People can sleep on this team all they want. They can call bogus. I know it's 2 days after the draft. Say what you want. The Pistons have a young core that any team in basketball right now that are in a rebuild would die for.
And if you don't believe us, just watch TV, because national recognition for both the Lions and the Pistons, that's a big deal. Like everybody among media is saying, the Pistons won the draft. Look out for the Pistons. You added Jaden Ivey to already a team that had an up-and-coming superstar in Cade Cunningham. So exciting things coming to Detroit.
Pistons starting 5 this year, I would say Cade, Jaden Ivey, Saddiq Bey, Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Stewart, unless they go for a center in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that starting 5 is going to be the main rotation. I think what you're going to see a lot of is Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Saddiq Bey on the court, Cade Cunningham, Saddiq Bey alone, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey alone, with Saddiq Bey off the court. When Bagley's on the court, expect Cade on the court. When Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren are on the court, expect multiple ball handlers, like a Killian Hayes, like a Cade Cunningham on the court to facilitate. Hell, I could even look to Jaden Ivey, who I think he will develop into at least a respectable playmaker. Not the best one on the team, but that's going to be a part of his game he's going to have to develop. He can't just be the only scorer. You want him to be that, but what happens when Cade is off the court? Excuse me, right?
Yep.
We saw that work so well with Boston this year. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
Stagger their minutes.
You're going to want both of them on the court as much as often, but there are going to be moments in the game where one is on the court and the other isn't. And I believe when Jaden Ivey's on the court and Cade is off of it, I believe the team will be just as effective.
Yeah, as long as Killian could play more off ball and hit jumpers, man, they're going to be fine. If he can knock down open threes, you could play them all together.
Adam, where's the hookah, man? You look sober this morning. Let me tell you, I was so lightheaded after that show. Just to help you guys understand, in a normal seating of smoking a hookah, a normal seating, you sit with the boys, you smoke for about an hour and a half, 2-3 hours. You maybe go through 2 charcoals at most. And when I say 2 charcoals, I mean like 2 full spots on the head. I went through 3 full spots on that head and 3 charcoals in less than an hour and 15 minutes. I couldn't even smoke the second half of the show. I was so goddamn dizzy. It was a hell of a show.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think I've
seen you like that since Stafford.
Yeah, I haven't been that lit since Stafford won the Super Bowl, to be honest with all of you. Ivey, top-end comp for me is a blend of Oladipo and Morant. I like the Morant side for athleticism.
I
don't know about Oladipo, though.
That's kind of who I saw a little bit, Oladipo.
Really?
I mean, I get more
I
of
think he's got
D-Wade.
better mid-range game than Oladipo.
Yeah, and I think D-Wade is the right comparison because you want high ceilings on these players. Like, you don't want to shoot for the stars.
Projecting, obviously, the best version of them.
Like, if I say Oladipo, everyone's like, all right. But no, I think Morant, D-Wade, Oladipo, kind of he's just his own individual player. Like, he's just different, man. He's taking bits and pieces from a lot of people's games. It's hard to kind of compare.
The better question is, who will be the closing five? I think Cade Cunningham, Saddiq Bey, Jaden Ivey.
Depends on what
Bagley?
they do.
I think they go small. I think they go small. I think they go really small.
But you
can't have Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren unless Duren just proves it during the season on the court in the fourth quarter.
But you also need a veteran down the stretch.
Well, that's where
maybe that's where the
free
4
agency
spot comes in. Yeah. Maybe
let's
you
wait
get
till
a veteran
free agency
4 and you go out there with Jalen Duren. Who else?
Just a heads up, by the way. Whenever the Kings have selected in the NBA draft, typically the player after has been a Hall of Fame player. So yes, I have every right to say D Wade when it comes to Jaden Ivey. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at the family he comes from. I'm telling you, like that stuff matters to me.
Basketball family.
That humbleness, that respect for the game, respect for your peers. Jaden Ivey has all of it. And you're pairing him with one of the most up-and-coming, unselfish superstars in the game of basketball. Cade has that superstar ceiling. 17, 5, and 5. Only did what Michael Jordan could do in the regular season as a rookie. Not even LeBron James himself could do it. Come on. This is a non-story for me.
Yeah.
I think they have some of the most up-and-coming talented players in all of basketball. Do you think it's too much to expect 12 to 13 points a game from Killian Hayes? Jeff?
I don't think so. I mean, he might be right around that area. I would say 10 to 13. He could even give you 10, but Dwayne Casey kind of hit on this too. He's been thinking about playing all 3 of these guys together, like Killian, Cade, and Jaden Ivey, because of the versatility. Like Cade 6'7", 6'4", Ivey, 6'5", Killian. In today's NBA, that's a dangerous lineup. You have multiple ball handlers, multiple guys who can make plays. So I think that's a fair expectation for Killian. I mean, you have to see improvement, guys. I mean, this is why Troy didn't blink when he saw Jaden Ivey was there. He's too damn good. And if you look at what he's been doing lately, it's just been taking the best talent available. That's why I respect Troy. He doesn't look at, hey, we have too many guards. Nope, take the best player. We'll worry about it later.
I do agree. I think Hayes, honestly, I want to see 8, 5, and 5 from him this year.
And play
with a steal and a half, maybe a game.
Defense is key.
I'm just looking for him on the defensive side. I'm done with Killian Hayes offensively. If he progresses, great. That just makes the team a little better. But I'm done with the Killian Hayes can be the number 1 point guard on this team. It's done. This team is now Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, and Saddiq Bey. That's the 3. That's the young core 3.
Yep.
Killian Hayes, I think Drew Holiday is his ceiling. That would be awesome. To have him coming off the bench, fantastic player. That's what you want in a championship team.
Yeah.
That's his ceiling for me. I don't think he'll ever be a top 5, top 7 point guard in basketball.
Yeah, you're hoping he could be like our Marcus Smart, maybe. But he needs more grit to him. But still,
yeah,
Marcus
I like
Smart,
the Drew Holiday comparison a little bit more just because of his game offensively. But yes, lockdown defender at the guard position, that's what you want out of Killian.
Because Smart didn't start for first couple years in Boston. Like, Drew Holiday's always been that dude. So we'll see, though. I'm excited for Killian. Big year for him.
Absolutely.
What do we got here?
We are too young and nice. I'd sign Bobby Portis. He'd give us borderline dirty toughness. I would agree. I think it's young.
Yeah.
Just wait till July 1st, right? We're going to do all these shows coming up. We have so much content coming out. I'm excited for the Pistons now. What I will say is, after July 1st, let's talk, right? Let's talk about how young we are. I'm not going to entertain it right now because they will address it. You have $44 million in cap space. You go to next year, Devin Booker is the marquee free agent maybe you can consider. I wouldn't anymore. Got Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, you're good.
And I don't want Devin Booker. I'm sorry. He's not a superstar either.
No.
They were in the finals because of Chris Paul, whether any of you want to give him credit or not. That was a team that couldn't even make the playoffs prior to Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So let's see how Devin Booker does without DeAndre Ayton.
And I love Devin Booker's my favorite player, and I get you. And I get you. You're preaching facts. I know Sean brought up Brian Forbes in the chat. That's another guy like from MSU. You need shooting. I think that's the biggest thing for me coming into this offseason for Troy Weaver. Address shooting, because with Jaden Ivey, with Jalen Duren, I mean, Jaden Ivey is a decent shooter. You can get better. And then you draft Jalen Duren. I mean, I know they got the guy out of Italy. Shout out to all the Italians. You got him out of Italy in like the 36th pick overall. He won't be here, though, for quite some time. They got to address some shooting. That's probably number 1 going into the offseason for me.
What do we think of Diallo this year? Impact on the court?
Yeah, I think he's
energy guy. That's it.
Yeah, that's probably the perfect role for him. I mean, he had some stretches last year where he looked really good, but then he had some stretches where he didn't look really good. So I'm in and out on Diallo. I think he deserves a play this year, but we'll see. His future's kind of undetermined.
Adam needs his own show by himself. No, I don't. No, I don't. Why'd I even read that? I'm not going to entertain that. Ayton is coming back to the Suns, shaking my head. If he does, great. Him and Devin Booker by themselves will not be the team that you saw in the finals 2 years ago. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Booker is great, but that ship just sailed. Look, Jeff, I know he's your boy. I know you love him. He's a great talent.
Yeah, but he's not a superstar.
But when are you going to develop, again, you look at the last 22 years, since 2000. Who has dominated the game of basketball, right? Steph Curry.
Yep.
Kobe Bryant. Tim Duncan. LeBron James. Those are the main four that have dominated the game. You can throw in Shaq there if you want to.
Yep. Throw Shaq in there.
But the point is, all the rings that you see are from those 5 individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Look, LeBron's a unicorn, so I'm going to just put him out of the conversation, right? The second greatest basketball player of all time, some think the greatest. I'm just going to push the anomaly out of the way, right? Let's work with Steph, Tim Duncan, Kobe.
Throw D-Wade in there.
And throw D-Wade in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to exclude Shaq because him and LeBron are at polar extremes. So I just want to work with the real data we have.
Okay.
Steph Curry, Tim Duncan, D-Wade, Kobe. What do they all have in common? Hard workers off the court. Leaders. Leaders in different ways. Steph and Tim Duncan, silent leaders. Kobe and D-Wade, vocal, animals on the court, but they work 7 days a week.
They lead by their example.
As well. So we're talking leaders. Do you have that in Devin Booker? No, I don't believe so. Can he develop it? Absolutely he can.
Mm-hmm.
So can Jason Tatum. But they're not there yet. They're just not. Neither is John Morant. Neither is Luka. Wait before anointing these people. Cade isn't there. Can he be? I believe so. And I think he has the human traits to be a superstar. So does Jaden Ivey, in my opinion. So does Jabari Smith. But that's why I wait before calling them
and that's
a
fair.
superstar.
That's
because you look where the championships are, guys. Was AI a superstar? Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, John Stockton? Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But boy, they make runs for the finals.
Yeah.
Boy, were they MVPs.
AI, yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves here. Tatum, you want to put him in that superstar category for leading the Celtics all the way? Sure. But I'm sure you all watch the finals that I watched as well. Yeah. That wasn't a good look. He literally did what LeBron did against Dallas. That's tough to do. So
that's a good point.
Look at how the league has been dominated. Look at how it's been built. The Spurs dynasty through the draft. The Warriors dynasty through the draft. LeBron's an anomaly. The Miami Heat, they have, again, the Heat, the Lakers, they can get all the star free agents. How can Detroit build that? I look at San Antonio. I now look at Boston. I now look at Golden State. That's how I want to build my basketball team. And I think you could have a dynasty if it all works out.
Yeah. Speaking of superstars, I know people are talking about Kevin Durant, and I never really had a chance to talk with you about it because I had to call him stick down yesterday. What do you think about all that?
I think it's garbage.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's garbage. Why would he want to come to Detroit, and why would you want him in Detroit right now? You have to trade for him.
Yeah, it'd be a monster.
He's a free agent not next year, the year after.
Yeah.
So you have 2 more years to wait. Torn Achilles.
What is he, 33?
God bless him. He's a fantastic player. Would love to have him in Detroit. What do I have to give up to get Kevin Durant? 4 first-round picks, Sadiq Bey, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, Isaiah Livers.
He'd be a monster deal.
How am I even going to make that money work?
I don't know. And you're bringing in $45 million.
Yeah, not going to.
That's the entire cap.
Not going to work. I mean, and everyone does said, well, Kate Cunningham, Jeff. Kate, everybody wants to play with Kate. What about Giannis in Milwaukee?
Yeah, right.
How's that work? Not attracting any star free agents.
Yeah.
Why? It's Milwaukee. It's Detroit. We've never signed high-profile free agents for a reason. They go to Miami. They go to L.A. That's just where they go. Yeah. Welcome to the reality of the NBA. It's not a shot on Detroit. It's not a shot at Cade. That's not where free agents go. And the ones that are stubborn and they try to be bold, like Kevin Durant, like Kyrie Irving, where they go to Brooklyn, an unproven product, look what they have now. Mm-hmm. Brooklyn's ready to go in a rebuild. They're losing their minds.
Imagine if we could bring in everybody who complements Cade. You'd have a team full of
Hamilton,
superstars.
Sheed, and Billups, free agents. Yeah. Were they top 5 players in the game? Were they top 10? They never were. And I love Ben Wallace. I love Chauncey. I love Rip. But do me a favor. Shut the hell up. They weren't top 5, top 10 players. Those are marquee free agents.
Right.
You can build a team like the Bucks did with Bobby Portis, trading for Chris Middleton, developing and getting Drew Holiday. You can do that. And that's what the Pistons will have to do, Jeff. But Kevin Durant, it doesn't make sense for Detroit.
No, for both sides.
And even in 2 years, well, I'm going to have to pay Cade. Going to have to pay Sadiq. Going to have to pay Isaiah Stewart. Maybe not max money for Stewart, but still, Killian.
Yep.
You're gonna guys' contracts are coming up soon. Build a young core. Add veteran pieces. And I believe the 3 players, Sadiq, Cade, and Jaden and Ivey, is more than enough to make runs in the postseason.
And that's what Memphis and Dallas did. And look at them right now. They're in the playoffs, deep postseason. So do it.
All right, KD is ring chasing. If he truly believed in Cade, he'd definitely do it. KD is bitch chasing. That's what he's doing. He's bitch chasing.
I'm confused.
He chose, if he was ring chasing, he would have stayed in Golden State.
That's what I'm saying. Like he said, he's ring chasing and basically saying if he truly believed in Cade, he'd definitely do it. If he's ring chasing, he ain't coming to Detroit. I'm sorry, not right now. We just mentioned 3 to 5 years away from contending. He doesn't have 3 to 5 years. KD wants to win ASAP, and he wants to win in Brooklyn. He wants to play with Kyrie Irving. That's what I believe. I mean, there's a reason why he left Golden State. We'll see what happens with KD, but I don't think he's coming to Detroit.
I love this comment. Agree, but those great players also had great coaches, right? Larry Brown, Chuck Daly for the Pistons. Who's that guy? I agree. I don't think it's Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey's a great human, great mentor for all these players. Yeah. I think he's your Mark Jackson stop, like Golden State was. I think he'll get you to 44, 48 wins at your peak, and then you got to move on and you got to bring in the next guy. I know maybe Pistons fans don't want to hear that now, or maybe they do. I'm not sure. My opinion is Dwayne Casey's not that guy. And you're going to have to go find that guy. You're going to have to find your Steve Kerr, your Greg Popovich, your Eric Spoelstra. You're going to have to go find that guy if you want to be a dynasty. You can't point to any dynasty and tell me that those coaches weren't some of the greatest coaches of all time. Yeah. Phil Jackson, Larry Brown, even though it wasn't a dynasty, but still, you won a championship because of great coaching. Rick Carlisle is a great coach with the Mavericks. Steve Kerr and the Warriors. LeBron, I mean, it doesn't matter who his coach is at this point. He's an anomaly, but you get the point.
Right. And I agree with Chuck. This is what I've been saying, too. Casey has 2 more years, and he goes to the front office. That's what I think will happen. I don't think we fire Dwayne. I think he goes, he gets a higher role. I mean, he's getting up there in age, and maybe that's the time you replace him, you get another coach. But
what is,
we'll see.
Excuse me. Question is, would Hassan Whiteside be a solid option? I'd say no. I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
again, you just got Jalen Duren.
You need spacing.
You need shooters. Right now,
yes,
you need
spacing.
Shooters, but you need veteran players. Veteran players and also shooters.
Yes.
Stretch the court.
Get some wings.
Yeah, no.
I'm passing Hassan. If we didn't have Duren, maybe, but no, I'll pass it on.
Yeah, I agree. If the Pistons get Ayton, should we want the Cavs? Should we do what the Cavs are doing with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley? No.
No, the difference is Evan Mobley can run pick and rolls as a center, like
and
be
dribble.
the ball handler. Yeah, like Jalen Duren isn't there yet. He's a throwback center, so no, that wouldn't fit. Either 8 and 2, he's the same way. What else we got? Hear me out. What about Becky Hammond? Oh God. Okay, we'll just
honestly, you know what?
She's a good coach.
You know what? Somebody's gonna have to take that chance. I think she could do it.
Oh, she could, yeah.
Is she a Hall of Fame coach? I don't know. That's too much. But I think she could be a coach in the league.
If you're going to hire the first, a woman to be a head coach, it's Becky Hammond. That's who it is.
And I'm with you 100%. What about T.J. Warren, Jeff?
I don't mind it. I like T.J. Warren. I know he's had some injury history, and maybe that's coming. Listen, you're talking to a guy who's not a big Miles Bridges guy. I really am not. In this free agency, I said DeAndre Ayton or bust, and then we drafted Jalen Duren. Now I'm a little hesitant on DeAndre Ayton, so I don't have big expectations for this free agency class, man. Like, go out, you can sign some veterans, get some shooting. If you want to keep some cap space, I'm cool with it. Like, it's not like it's Miles Bridges or bust for me. I'm cool. Do whatever they got to do. Question for Jeff: would you rather pay Ayton or just develop Jalen and just break the money up and get? You know what, Banks? This is why I love you, because I didn't even read the question. I just answered your question because I agree. I would rather develop Jalen and break the money up and get solid role players to put around the core 3. That's exactly what I would do rather than paying Ayton a 4-year deal. Because you got to think, can Jalen Duren sit behind DeAndre Ayton for 4 years? It's a tough one to answer.
All right, let's see what other questions we have in the chat. Let's see. You think the Pistons will go after Hayward now? I'd say no. No, that's done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we're
it's
done. We did the Kemba deal. We haven't addressed it yet, so we probably should right now. But they acquired Kemba Walker. They'll buy him out. That's it. And I think that's better than acquiring Gordon Hayward, to be honest with you.
It's crazy to think about. Like, Troy got the 13th pick without taking on a single bad salary. That doesn't get talked about enough. We were having discussions to get that 13th pick.
But
we
I thought the Jeremy Grant trade was awful.
Yeah.
Well, they got a 2025 pick, Jeff. They only got the 2025 pick. Oh, but you freed up tens of millions of dollars in cap space, which allowed you to bring in Kemba Walker, and now you'll buy him out. And you'll still have an abundance of cash to go after somebody in free agency. And on top of that, I don't know, you got the number 13 overall pick in Jalen Duren. Boy, does Troy Weaver know what he's doing. Unbelievable. Garza Azar Jokic. Shut the hell up, Armando. No.
Garza.
God, no.
I love the
no.
enthusiasm, Armando.
No, just no.
Luka is in a tough spot. I think he'll be in the G League this year. Like Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, you're going to probably go out. I think there's a spot for Luka Garza, and you're seeing he's working in the offseason. There'll be a video interview with Frank Garza posted on From Half Court. Go check that out. Sean did a great job. You can get the inside on that. But yeah, I think he'll be in the G League this year. We'll see.
All right, if Bradley Beal did opt out, by the way, but I don't believe he's on our radar. I think he's going to a contender.
Yeah, even regardless, I
don't think you want him here anyways.
Like, you got your
Again, why are you going to hinder the development of Cade Sadiq and Jaden Ivey? It doesn't make sense to me.
Let them grow together.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that at all. Let's see. Adam, do you think Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey can be the Pistons' version of Bron and Wade? Wishful thinking, sure. But I don't know. No, I think you're asking somebody to be LeBron James. That's the top 2 player of all time.
That's a tough one, yeah.
That's a hell of an expectation. I do think they can be a variation, a version of it in terms of stardom tandems, right? I think they're the best up-and-coming combination that the league has to offer right now, maybe outside of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
But they've arrived more, right? They're 4 or 5 years in, so it's a little different.
Yeah. Banks got another question. What do y'all think Jalen Duren's ceiling is? I'm hearing people say Dwight Howard. You know what's funny? I'm not saying he's Dwight Howard. I don't want to go there. But when I watch him on tape, he reminds me of Dwight Howard.
Really?
He doesn't put up like Dwight Howard was a specimen. I don't want to get too far.
What if I told you a better offensive version of Robert Williams?
Yeah, taller, bigger. Yeah, for sure. I think so.
I'd like that for him to be a ceiling.
Yeah, and Robert Williams is a hell of a player, man. He is.
A more explosive, offensive-minded. I think he has a lot more potential offensively than Robert Williams. I would love to have a Robert Williams on this team. And if that's Jalen Duren, I think that's a great pick. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see, just sign vets for shooting and keep the flexibility. Ryan, I don't disagree with that completely.
I like that. Right?
I'm very open to that. Livers is sort of the forgotten guy, and he can be a great addition. Livers is a good guy. He can shoot the 3.
Underrated. He's going to have a lot of minutes this year. He'll be playing
again, after free agency, I do want to see what the rotations, what they look like. It's going to be interesting. You guys can't compare Milwaukee and Detroit. Why not? Milwaukee attracting any star free agents? I don't think so. Is Detroit? Nope. I'm going to compare Milwaukee.
Milwaukee just has one of the best players in the world, if not the best player.
And if you're Detroit, you're going to have to build like Milwaukee, like Golden State, and like Boston did.
Yeah. Because
you're not going to go out and get a $40 million player every single summer. That's not how Detroit operates. It's not the market. Let's see. Who is the potential teams to call Detroit for cap space and give future assets in return? Charlotte was one of those teams. New York was one of those teams, but the Pistons have already made their deal. I'm not sure what contracts they would go out and acquire for future picks. I think they're young enough right now. I think I believe Troy Weaver's done with this. That's it.
Yeah. Now it's free agency.
We're done. Now it's role players, veterans.
Yeah.
That's the focus now. I don't see them making any more aggressive moves, at least for giving up salary cap to acquire draft picks. They have enough draft picks, if we're honest.
Yeah.
I would love to have Frank Vogel in to help with the defense. I don't mind him as an assistant. We attracted Grant and D. Rose. We can sign players. Michael, you have to be one of the dumbest people I have ever come across in this chat, and I've come across some real dumb people. Okay. Derrick Rose was
on the back burner.
A homeless version of Derrick Rose. Jeremy Grant
wanted to be the man.
Got money that he wasn't going to get anywhere else to come here, and he's not a top 5, top 10, top 15. He's not even top 30 in the league. Hell, not even top 40. Shut the hell up. God damn it, Michael. I'm not trying to be rude this morning.
No, it's...
You can't protect yourself from idiots.
You can't count Derrick Rose and Jeremy Grant as like marquee free agents. I mean, it's just...
The bad boys were Jordan's wall. Who will this team's wall be before we get a chip? I would say Boston, right? Boston's older than you. They're young as well, so they're going to be around for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I think Boston will be in your way. Miami will always be a problem as long as Spoelstra's in charge and Pat Riley, because they're going to be able to attract free agents. So I would say Boston, Miami. I'm not too worried about Atlanta. The 76ers are whatever to me. I think they'll implode in a few years. Obviously, Milwaukee and Giannis. So those are the three. I'd say Milwaukee, Boston, and Miami. Those are the three teams that I think will be your wall 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. What do you think?
I agree with you. And Colin just said, on the heavyweight space, they said beef stew is a trade piece now. Jeff, what's his value? I think beef stew has tremendous value still. Like, people get so, like, you draft Jalen Duren, and all I've been seeing is Isaiah Stewart. Watch out, Isaiah Stewart. If Isaiah Stewart can develop a jump shot, guys, he can play. 6'8". He got better on the perimeter defensively last season. We know he's a dog. We know he has heart. He plays hard every single night. There's going to be a spot for Isaiah Stewart. Don't worry about it. As long as he can hit shots. You need spacing, guys.
Adam, how dumb do you think the Knicks are for moving mountains?
They've always been
to
dumb.
Get Jalen Brunson. They've been dumb since Jalen Dolan bought the team, and James Dolan, excuse me. And the only reason why they were relevant in the '90s is because they were gifted the golden envelope for Patrick Ewing. That's the only thing that made them relevant. Since then, they've been nothing but garbage. This is what garbage franchises do. The Pistons would be a garbage franchise if they went for Jalen Brunson and gave him a max deal. The Pistons are not a garbage franchise right now, and they don't have a garbage GM. Let's see. Adam, Ivey at 5 is better than Jalen Green at 2. What do you think? Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. Jalen Green is what? A hyper athletic scorer, which is kind of what you're projecting.
I'll say this. I think Jaden Ivey can have a more complete game. I'll go that far. I think he'll be more complete.
He will have a more complete game. And
but Jalen Green might score more. You know what I mean?
What does that mean, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Russell Westbrook averaged 32 points in a single season before. What does that mean?
Jaden Ivey's going to affect winning. That's the difference. He's going to
Jaden Ivey has superstar potential. Jalen Green can just be a star, an all-star player.
Yeah.
27, 4-4 a night.
Flashy,
highlight reel.
He'll be
Is he going to impact Houston and get them to the finals, which they haven't been to since Hakeem? I doubt it, and I would say no, actually. Milwaukee will be a big wall for us. I do agree. Absolutely. If not, the Pistons will at the very least be extremely athletic, and entertaining. Are you guys attending the first home game? We'll see, but I'm trying to buy season tickets, to be honest with you. Hey, Adam and Jeff, do the Pistons re-sign Diallo? I think he's a perfect guy off the bench. High energy, good.
Yeah, for a cheap deal. Yeah,
I agree.
It ain't going to hurt.
I think they should.
Diallo. I like Diallo. You need versatility, defense. Again, I mean, he's not a great shooter, and I'm kind of contradicting myself because I want more shooting and re-signing guys that really can't shoot.
See,
but if you can, I
disagree, Michael. Jalen can be a superstar, too. No, he can't. Not until he fixes his character. Not until he fixes his attitude. It's not going to happen. Jalen Green will not be a superstar in this league until he changes his game mentally. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Those individuals that are all about themselves, James Harden, I don't consider Harden a superstar. He's a star. So is Westbrook. They're not superstars.
Yeah.
When you talk about a guy that can be the reason why his team is able to contend year in and year out, and everybody is buying, nobody's buying into James Harden, nobody's buying into Russell Westbrook. Where's the buy-in? How do you build a true championship team? It's by having guys like Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham.
Right.
Selfless individuals that are willing to do whatever it takes for the team and are willing to be coachable. Jalen Green thinks he's the shit now.
And you saw it in Houston, the first majority of the quarter of the season, him getting buckets, him struggling, but also the Houston Rockets getting blown out. You saw towards the end him get better, the Rockets get a little bit better. So we'll see. I'm not going to write him off, but as of right now, I just haven't seen him affect winning. But we'll see. I think he can get there.
Toronto is a good one to add to that list. I would keep Atlanta out of it, though, Mr. Ray. Jalen Green is toxic for team play. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you so much. Somebody in here understands what basketball is about. I told you, go back since the year 2000. Who have been the core fundamental leaders of their basketball franchises? LeBron James, Steph Curry, Tim Duncan. Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade. Selfish and unselfish superstars who put in the work off the court, who you don't have to question their commitment to the game, who don't only care about themselves, who care about winning. Those are the individuals that have dominated the game since 2000. Jalen Green will end up being a John Wall, a Damian Lillard, a Russell Westbrook, James Harden, maybe star potential, right? Super athletic, super gifted, phenomenal player. Nobody will give a rip because he will never affect winning in Houston. Let's see what else we got here. They said Kobe was a ball hog too. Kobe was not a ball hog, number one.
Don't
Two,
compare
he was
Kobe.
a winner.
Yeah, don't compare
Michael.
Kobe to anybody.
Don't compare Jalen Green coming out of college. Or excuse me, the G League, correct?
That's just disrespectful. Yeah,
don't even. Kobe Bryant came in, and again, Mamba mentality. Who has that in the league right now? Jalen Green doesn't have it.
No.
He hasn't shown it. I don't want to hear that. Bunch of nonsense. You talk about players that care about themselves, that care about how they look.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Chuck said, let's compare Kobe and Green on the defensive end. Yeah, right.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, there you go, Chuck.
How big of a jump do you project Cade Cunningham to take in year two? Jeff, I'll let you go on this one.
I think minimum, we've kind of had these discussions as well. 20 points isn't out of the picture. I think that's realistic. I mean, he got almost 18 on low efficiency, so and barely any free throws. So I think 20 is in the picture. I would say 21, 22, 6 and 6, somewhere around there. Better efficiency numbers. I think he could take a jump to be over 20, and I think he stays at 20 for quite some time. So he's going to be dynamic this year. I don't know. It depends on Jaden Ivey as well. That's the tough one to predict because Cade Cunningham has such an insane rookie season, especially in the month of March. I'm kind of curious to see what Jaden Ivey does off the rip, but if Jaden Ivey comes out and is scoring 18 a game, then maybe Cade goes down a little bit. Maybe he's 20, 21, but if Jaden Ivey's giving you 15 his rookie year, I think Cade can jump to 22, 23. So we'll see. It just depends. They got a lot of talent.
Jalen Green showed his flashes of being a scorer in year one. I think he will be an effective star scorer in this league. But can you develop everything else around your game? I'd like to believe that this is not going to be the case with Jalen Green. Cade Cunningham, I think year two, I would say 18 and a half, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists.
Right.
I think he's going to be completely a very good all-around player with a lot of good pieces around him. Let's see what else we have going on here. Other questions in the chat. Where's the second round pick at? He's irrelevant.
He's in Italy. Yeah. She's chillaxing.
Oh, God. Keep in mind, Jalen Duren is only 18 years old. I do agree. I mean, that is a whole different aspect. The
youngest player in the draft.
The youngest, he is a man. He's a man body.
Grown-ass man, yeah.
Like we talk about Chet Holmgren having to develop into his body. Jalen Duren's already a grown man.
Yeah.
Unreal. What do you think about? What do you think Jalen Duren's ceiling is? Jeff, I'll let you take that.
Honestly, you look at DeAndre Ayton, like that's what we should expect. Now, he was a number one pick, so I'm not going to go that far. But in terms of like best centers in the league, if you watch Jalen Duren on tape, he can shoot the mid-range. He's actually pretty good at it. I know he didn't shoot that good from the free throw line, but I think there's more to Jalen Duren's game offensively that we haven't seen that he can get better at. Defensively, I don't have to worry about him. He's going to bring energy. He's catch a bunch of lobs. He'll get easy buckets at the basket, second chance points and all that. But I think Jalen Duren could be like an 18, 19, and 12 guy. Like he can be, like Andre Drummond, but actually with the right mindset and just better efficiency numbers. So I think there's a lot of potential in him, man. He's 18 years old, guys. Like, he still has, a year and a half till, really DeAndre Ayton's age when he was drafted. So he's got some time to work on his game, that's for sure.
Absolutely. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. We've talked heavily about the first two picks. Let's talk about the development now of some of the, I would say, core players that you're going to need to just give you good minutes. We talked about maybe re-signing Diallo. You have Killian Hayes off the bench. You're going to see a lot of minutes from Livers off the bench. Which one of these three, between Diallo, Livers, and Hayes, do you need, not want, that you need to have the most impact on the court this year?
Besides the core.
Besides the core. Out of the three right now, Diallo, Hayes, and Livers, who needs to take that next step to become an absolute bona fide role player on this team?
I would say Livers, because he brings spacing, which is what this team needs. He did it last year. He shot 3. I think he shot 40% from 3 in limited minutes. But if he comes out this year and has a bigger role and could be that knockdown shooter, he's going to benefit Killian. That's why I didn't pick Killian. He'll help Killian. He'll help Cade. He'll help Jaden Ivey. It's just more spacing for everybody to work. So I would say Isaiah Livers. I know everyone wants to say Killian Hayes, and that's the easy answer. But you got to look at Killian Hayes. If he can develop a jump shot, you can make the argument it's Killian Hayes. But for me, it's got to be Isaiah Livers, man. If we have more shooting, it's going to benefit the team. So I'm going
I would agree. Why I would go with Hayes is because, yes, he is the number 7 overall pick, right? Livers was a second-round pick.
And that's fair, expectation-wise.
Expectation-wise, I want to see Killian Hayes develop into a legitimate 6. I think his ceiling could be that. Somebody you plug in and out of the rotation a lot, 22, 24, 26 minutes a night. But right now it looks like he's a 7 or 8. And I need him, not want, I need him to give me 8, 5, and 5, 8, 6, and 6, a steal and a half a game.
Right.
Effective shooting percentage. And honestly, he's got to be able to hit the 3 ball. He's got to play with confidence. So this is a big year for Killian. It really is.
If he can hit the 3 ball, man, he can play with either one. I mean, he can play with Cade or Jaden Ivey.
Let's see. Who do you project the starting 5 to be so far? So without free agency, if I'm starting the team right now, it's Cade, Ivey, Sadiq, Bagley.
You can even...
I'd go with Duren, man. I would put him out of the gate over Isaiah Stewart. I think he brings so much more offensively than Isaiah Stewart does. But out of respect for Stewart, I think he's in the lineup day one right now with Duren coming off the bench.
And I think if you put Jalen Duren at the 5, I think Livers starts at the 4 because now you have spacing. Jalen Duren can't shoot. I mean, he can shoot 15 feet, but Marvin Bagley isn't a great three-point shooter either, and he's not that good defensively. I think Bagley could be best off the bench giving you buckets. So give me, Cade, Jaden Ivey, Sadiq, Isaiah Livers, and Jalen Duren. I think that's a young lineup. Now, we don't know what they're going to do for agency, of course, but just off the rip, I don't mind that.
A high-end 6-man, that's rough for a 7th overall pick. Well, I think we all agree that Killian Hayes has not worked out in Detroit so far. He still has a lot to grow, but look at his game. Is he going to be a top 10 point guard in this league? And can he even in this circumstance? You have Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Sadiq Bey. You will have Marvin Bagley likely returning to this team.
Right.
And what are we doing? There's one basketball on the court. I think he's an effective role player. You got an effective role player, and you found a steal with, Sadiq Bey at 16, I believe?
That was, no, I think it was after
18?
that. Yeah.
So you got him at 18. That's your guy.
Stewart was taken
That's
before
the steal
him.
of the draft. And yeah, you're right. Isaiah Stewart was taken before.
Which is crazy to think about.
So, look, Killian at best is a solid top 10 role player in this league. I think he's a solid 7. Could be a 6. Who knows? He's not in the starting 5. Not on this team. Not on this team. Let's see what else we have in the chat. Jeff,
I feel Banks, this statement, damn, I hate the Pistons got all this money in this free agency class. Like, I kind of get where you're coming from. Like, I've been sharing those thoughts. I think this free agency class is overrated. I don't think they need to build
through free agency. I'm not worried. I think it's through the draft. I'm very confident what's going on. Adam and Jeff, do you think Cade and Ivey could be better than Billups and Hamilton?
Let's be honest.
What if I told you by a landslide?
I'm going to say, let's be honest, like, yes. Like, and that's not, and listen, you got to win a championship. You got to reach multiple Eastern Conference finals. But if they aren't better than Rip and Chauncey, that
would be 2 busts of a draft pick. They should be better than Rip and Chauncey.
Yeah.
That would be a disaster. Chauncey and Rip were both brought here in free agency. Correct? Or one of them was traded for, excuse me.
Yeah, Chauncey was traded, and then Rip was, I think, acquired as well.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. They were not drafted. Look, Dumars, again, he put a championship team together. None of those guys were top 5 at their position at any given
collectively
moment.
Dangerous.
These 2, I believe, can be top 5 at their respective positions moving forward in the NBA. Now, is that in the next year or 2? Probably not. But we're talking 4, 5, 6 years from now? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see what other questions we have, Jeff. We're coming up. We got about 12 minutes left, so get your questions in. What about Isaiah and Joe D? Now, that's the comparison.
That is right there.
You want to have that. You want to remember Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham together like you remember Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Championships. Multiple finals appearances. Almost a dynasty. So one of the better teams that the NBA has ever had.
Both drafted. Like, it fits
Superstar
the narrative.
players. Both superstars.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a home run. Give me the Joe D and Isaiah Thomas comparison all day. All right, Jeff, who's going to play in the Summer League? Stu, Livers, Killian? Because Stu and Hayes did not have a great season last year.
I don't think Stu will be there. I don't think Killian will be there, although he probably should be there. It's really going to be Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren are the two guys I'm most excited. Maybe you see Livers in there as well, but that's going to be exciting. I mean, I watched the summer league because the last 3 years we've been picking high in the draft. But this summer league, I'm really excited because you're going to see Cade there watching. Which imagine if Cade played in the summer league, man, he'd be like MVP. He really would.
Remember Lonzo Ball, summer league MVP?
Yeah, that's true. He was. But yeah, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, it's gonna be showtime there, man.
You know what? This is a great comment. I feel so bad for Jabari Smith Jr. Who's gonna get him the ball? Kevin Porter.
You know what's funny?
Or Jalen Green.
I told Sean that when the night of the draft, I said that's a bad fit.
It is.
He doesn't have a playmaker. Like Jabari, that's why I've always said like Paulo was the best player to me in the draft, but Jabari was the best fit for Detroit if we landed him because he can play off Cade. In Houston, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, again, tell me that you're gonna rely on Jalen Green or Kevin Porter
to get you the ball.
To get him the ball. Okay, guys. Yeah, I should be really confident in what Houston has going on.
It's a weird fit.
Let's see what else. I feel sorry. Oh wait, we just read that. Excuse me. Have you looked at the 2023 class at all? It's not better than this year. Not a lot of young potential free agents outside of Devin Booker. It's
guys that won't come here. I'll be honest with you.
Jeff, again, what free agents are you bringing in? That's gonna just change this team's trajectory. Next year, you got LeBron, James Harden, John Wall, Westbrook, Kyrie, Kevin Love.
Westbrook.
Andrew Wiggins is nice, but again, you don't need him. Jokic, that would be a hell of a signing. You want to talk about a real signing? Jokic.
Be crazy.
But I don't think that's going to happen. He'll probably stay in Denver and get the Supermax.
Yeah, he'll get a bag.
So Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Grant, no. Miles Turner, Eric Bledsoe, Christian Wood, KCP.
It's scraps.
Dylan Brooks. I mean, come on. It's not going to happen, guys. I mean, it's not. There's not much here. There's not much.
That's why I agree with the point you made about building around your young core. I think that's the way to go. That's what Boston did. They drafted a bunch of players, and they went out and got some veterans. Al Horford. They drafted Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They traded for Derek White. Boom. They drafted Grant Williams. Put it all together. Let's roll. I think that's what the Pistons are going to do.
You got Devin Booker in 2024. But again, Jaden Ivey will probably be up-and-coming star by then.
He'll be talked about.
Cade will be a star by then. Yep. Sadiq will be one of the better players. I mean, come on. This is built through the draft, and don't look back. Jaylen Brown 2024, not going to happen. Dude, he's taking the bag in Boston. As much as we love Chauncey and Rip, it was the Sheed acquisition that put us over the top.
That's true.
I don't like saying that, though, because I believe they all needed each other equally. And without one, none of it's a success. It was just a really well organized team.
It's like the final piece of the puzzle. Even though they were good without him, but they were really good with him. It's made it good.
Jeff, what do you think about Dwayne Casey?
I love Dwayne. I mean, I'm a little biased.
I know I'm harsh on him, but
I know I really do. I think he's the best. And Troy Weaver said this: best coach for this situation. He really is, man. Like Jaden Ivey, they're all going to. He's going to love him. Number one, Jalen Duren's going to love him. Number two, and I think development. I mean, the position we're in as a team, he's the best coach. Like, that's why I'm not, you haven't heard a single thing out of anybody from us, out of Woodward Pistons or from half court saying fire Dwayne Casey. That just won't happen. Because I think he'll be gone, but I don't think he'll be fired. I mean, he's getting up there in age. We'll see what he does. But I love Dwayne. He's a good human.
Yeah, let's look at the free agents this year, right? Who are we looking at? I'm not interested in, I mean, what? Yusuf Nurkic, TJ Warren, Jeremy Lamb, Montrezl Harrell, Tyus Jones. Who's available here that you're like in love with? Nobody.
No.
Josh Jackson.
Ooh.
Kevin Knox. Bobby Portis. Miles Bridges. This is a tough one. This is a tough class. What? Paul Millsap? You're looking for veterans? I mean,
you can get them this year.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I like Kyle Anderson a lot, but I think after the draft, it's kind of tough for me to sell myself on going after a Kyle Anderson.
Bravo said, "What's up, Jeff? What do you think about the stash and draft players, Procida and Koprovica last year?" I mean, me and Sean kind of talked about this too, because Jaden Hardy fell in the draft, and I was sitting there like, my God, we can land Jaden Hardy, one of my favorite guys that I love to watch this year, at 36. But I get it, though. In terms of, like, cap, you draft these guys because you don't have to worry about paying them. You know what I mean? Like, you're stashing them. So, smartly, I like what they're doing. You draft the best shooter in the class at 36, and maybe he'll come here in a couple years. Balsavica, another guy that might be here down the line. second-round picks, you're just swinging, man. I mean, we'll see if they work out, but it's really about Jaden, Ivey, and Jalen Duren.
Who could be the biggest surprise player this year, Jeff, in your opinion? Who is going to take the scene, or who could take over the scene that would just take everyone's breath away this year?
Man, that's a tough question. I think Sadiq can take the next step. I really do. Between him or Isaiah Stewart, I know Isaiah Stewart's been working in the gym, and I'm telling you, if he comes out this year and has a three-point shot, he's going to shock a lot of people.
You ready for this?
Who is it? What are you about to say?
Sadiq Bey last year when Jeremy Grant was off the court. He was a bucket.
Yeah, he had 50.
Loved him, right?
Had 50.
20 points a game last year. Probably goes up to, 23 maybe? 24 points.
Yeah.
The guy that's going to take this team by storm and really surprise everybody is Jaden Ivey. He'll be 15 a night, 17 a night year one. I truly believe that. You start him, he's in the lineup, he's 15, 17 a night year one. And he won't be shooting 41, 42%. He'll be shooting a solid 46, 47% year one. That's my guy to take over not take over the team, but
come out.
Holy, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
For me, it's Jaden Ivey. Yeah. I want to say Killian, obviously, because
I just say Bey with Grant being gone. Maybe that role. Man,
I think Bey's going to take a big step forward. I don't think
points.
He's going to surprise anyone, though, right? I think we're all expecting 22, 23 a night from Sadiq Bey on this current team.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Bruce Brown would be a good defensive guard instead of what we have like Jackson, etc.
But again, guys,
I believe in Killian.
I know, but
I believe in Isaiah.
But it all goes back to the same point. Shooting.
Yeah.
You need shooting. Bruce Brown, and I love Bruce Brown. He's one of my favorite players, especially when he was a Piston. He got traded to Brooklyn. But still, you need shooting, guys. You need spacing. That's the biggest. That's 1A need for this team right now. It is.
All right, let's see. Let's get a few more questions in. 4 more minutes until we head out.
What's the win expectation for the season? Pre-off-season, because it's tough to call.
Pre-free agency is tough. I'd say they're a lottery pick 3 to 7 right now if they put out this team.
Okay.
I think they're going to be picking in the top 5 again if they don't make any additions. Which is not going to happen.
It's not a hot take. I mean,
they're going to win 24 to 26 games probably with this lineup. After free agency, I think we'll probably, realistically, given what I think is going to happen, you're looking at a 31 to 35, 37 win team.
And I like that. I would say 30-plus wins is the goal. I would say 30 to 36 wins. Who knows what's possible? But again, it's hard to project a team with such young players because you have to count on them developing. If Sadiq, Cade, and Jaden Ivey looks great year one, they can get up 30-plus wins. I think that's the goal.
Veteran shooting is key this free agency class. Just veteran presence on the court. Troy knows what he's doing. Let's just put it that way. So happy he traded Jeremy Grant.
He's playing
Troy,
chess.
From the bottom of my heart, man. Seriously. Thank you so much, Troy. You couldn't have given me a better birthday gift than what you provided by trading Jeremy Grant. That was the we will build a team together player to have on your team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He is good enough to put up numbers on a bad team. On a good team, he's just a number 3, and that's it. He wasn't the number 3 on this team. Not interested. Are you guys okay with taking it if it means you get Victor Wanyama?
I have a problem with this, too. Victor is like one of those prospects that's been all over social media, plays overseas, and he's 7'1", can jump, has a jumper, can handle the ball. But, it's way too early, guys.
How about we just stop building the team around 20-year-olds and let the core develop right now?
I don't want to be in a position to take Victor. How about that? We want to start winning, but we'll see.
Rick Fox was a bitch, and so was Shaq. Marquise, just so you know. And Kobe's ball hoggingness is why he was a big reason why they won all those 3 championships with Shaq.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Kobe during that time. Yes, Shaq was the guy. Don't forget Kobe's 31-7-7 in those finals. Don't forget Kobe's 34-6-8 in those finals. Don't sleep on Kobe. Get the hell out of here. Tank for Bronny. Hell no. Is Bronny even going to be a 2nd-round pick at this point?
Who knows? He looks good, but I hate the Bronny talk. Who knows with Bronny? You get LeBron, though.
Has he committed to college yet?
No, he hasn't. Who knows? The NBA might change it so he can come right out of high school. Who knows, man?
I recommend no players come out right out of high school. I really don't like that rule.
Yeah.
I like having them in the NBA.
Especially with the,
I just think if you look at the players, they're not ready for the NBA until they're 21, 22 typically, unless you're like Luka and you play against grown men all your life. I think college is actually good for these players.
Look at Pistons talk. CBS Sports reported the Pistons are going after veterans instead of going after big free agents like DeAndre
And this
Jalen
is why
Brunson.
Troy Weaver is establishing himself
Yes.
as one of the better GMs in
I
basketball.
love that. He probably thinks, man, his draft class is overrated.
Yeah, no. F. Jalen Brunson. We're done with the DeAndre Ayton talk because Jalen Duren's in town. And they didn't expect to get him, and they did.
Yep.
They would have gone after Ayton had they not gotten him. I think it's a great move. How long do you think Casey is our coach? Maybe 2 more years.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 more years, but we're going to wrap up. Everybody who tuned in, thank you so much. If you haven't liked the video, make sure you drop a like before you exit. And if you haven't subscribed to Woodward Sports, make sure you do. Check out Jeff, of course, on From Half Court with Sean Murphy. Honestly, one of the better podcasts out there, especially about basketball just in general. I mean,
Thank you.
you and Sean are absolutely crushing it. Shout out to Kareem for coming in today and TDing. Really appreciate it, making this all possible. Shout out to our graphics department, of course, for the awesome graphics. And shout out to Roman. Roman is an unsung hero at this company. Never gets any credit because he's never here. But we love you, Roman. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Congratulations to all you Detroit Pistons fan. Oh, God. Jaden, Ivey, baby. Jalen, Duren.
It's time.
To all you Kings fans, to all you Knicks fans, just from the bottom of my heart, even Portland, just one more time. Go fuck yourselves. The
That's for
Pistons
you.
won the draft. We're out of here. See you guys later.
Double middle fingers.